What's up, everybody? RobLive. We're back in studio, and we told you during Halloween, October, we were going to bring it, and today it has been brought. So the stars have aligned, and we have somebody in studio that I said earlier, we're probably not going to be able to get this guy again, so we got to take full advantage of it. The one and only, the king of the paranormal connection right here in the Central Valley, Jeffrey Gonzalez.
Hey,
welcome to the show.
How's it going? Thanks for having me. This is cool. It's been a while since I've been on a podcast, but yeah, this is awesome. I love talking about this stuff. So especially in the month of October.
Yes, and with this,
look at the setup, right?
With coffins,
You better not have anybody climb out of that and go. Like
no one gets my joke that I got it used.
Oh, now okay, yeah, I got it this time. Thank you. You're a longtime friend of James, right?
I just asked him a question. When did we meet? And he said about over 10 years ago. And
Easy
he was
over 10, yeah.
Yeah, he was a cameraman for a news station?
It was 47, yeah.
47, and it was, I think, month of October or before that, and I guess you guys called me.
Well, yeah, it was during the month, and Brittany Hopper was my reporter, and
right.
we just wanted to find some scary,
there you go.
Paranormal stuff, and
right.
This is the guy.
You were in the yellow pages, I guess, back then, right?
Yeah, I don't remember how you guys found me, but yeah, you were the camera guy. We went to the Sanger Hospital, where I was born and raised, and brought my psychic team, and we did an investigation. They followed us around, and that's how we became friends.
It was really cool, man. It was really cool.
I'm just grateful that you guys remain friends and that you're here with us today. So I want to start from the beginning. You're from Sanger, California.
Sanger, born and raised.
Apache.
Yep.
Did you know Tom Flores?
Nope. My dad did. He went to
did.
school with him, I think.
And as far as the seeds for what you later became, how was that planted? Was that in grade school? Was that high school where you started getting into paranormal?
I guess, being how old I am, I'm not going to tell you. I remember the shows like, well, I guess the first show was In Search of with Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's where I first saw Patterson Gimlin film, Patty walking around. And when I saw it on my wood TV set and on the shag red carpet when I was laying down, and I saw Patty, which is the Bigfoot, walking across, I went, OMG, right? And then Project Blue Book after that, and then there was Kolchak the Night Stalker, and then in the 90s was the X-Files. So yeah, I've been a fan since I was a kid. I remember when in elementary school at Madison Elementary, I would go to the library and check out these books, Bigfoot books and UFO books, and we only had 5 of them, but I would check them out over and over and over again, right? And my name was on the back of the book with Jeffrey Gonzalez. But I've been a fan all my life. I would have never thought in a million years where I am today, doing what I am doing today.
Yeah.
I am looking for monsters.
How cool is that?
That is legit. I am looking for monsters, and I'm finding them.
That is a crazy part.
Okay.
We're gonna have to get to that.
So it's like, yeah, it's been a long time coming. I'm still doing this because Central Valley is off the hook. And let's go.
Wow. Okay, speaking of that, he said Central Valley's off the hook. Let's go. So, Jim, we're about to do something we've never done before. We're going to take our first caller. Okay, and this caller is calling in from San Marcos, California. He's a good friend of mine, and he has a Fresno question for you. And here we go. Okay, so let's call him. Mobile network not available. See,
there's a pressing you.
Jim, it's happening right
okay,
now. So, guys, I want you to just know this, everybody who's online watching or tuning in. Jeff is known for being blocked with random media, electronics.
Bad juju.
And earlier, what was it, 5 minutes ago, that
everything shut down.
Now, I'm trying to make a simple phone call, and it's saying what?
Mobile network not available.
Wow, did your phone work?
I have one bar.
That's great. Is it because we're in the warehouse?
It might be, yeah. It might be.
Okay, well, We'll try it later, but we're going to call my friend Matt Konatsu, and he was going to ask you about something he'd heard about maybe about 10, 15 years ago called the Fresno Nightcrawlers.
Yes. Very
What can you
familiar
tell
with
us
them.
about the Fresno Nightcrawlers?
The Fresno Nightcrawlers, that happened on the, let's say it's the northwest corner of Roosevelt High School. There is a street, I believe it's on Iowa.
Yeah.
So what happened was this gentleman, Mexican guy, right, doesn't speak English, family doesn't speak English. They were getting a lot of their toys and stuff ripped off from their kids out in the front lawn, right? Nothing to do with Nightcrawlers at this point. But so he went to Harbor Freight and bought a couple of cheap cameras, and he put them on the eve of his house. And back then, in the 90s, when this happened, his security system was plugging the cameras into a VCR and hook it up to a little black and white TV.
So long before Ring.
Yeah, way before. So one night, his dogs, he has like 5 chihuahuas, they're right?
Yeah.
And so he gets up, goes to the family room, turns on the TV, and he looks at the TV and he starts noticing these things walking across his lawn. And it's recording. He's going, what the hell is that? Right? And he's tripping.
Yeah.
And he got 2 of them walking across his yard. And then I guess the following day, he has this VCR tape.
Yeah.
And since he speaks Spanish, he went to the Univision here in Fresno.
Okay, so that's how it got.
Univision,
right.
you know, the Spanish-speaking community loves this stuff.
Yes.
You know, I mean, come on, Jaime Maussan and all that, right? They're just totally into this stuff. So Univision got this. They went, holy crap. So who do we call? Well, they contacted some paranormal experts back in that time in LA. They came down, and MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, is a big UFO organization. He gave it to one of their guys and took it to their major conference in Las Vegas, and they aired it on screen, and boom,
Blew up.
worldwide.
Yes.
Fresno Nightcrawlers stamp. That's how it became known.
Wow.
So
I remember it was on a show. I don't know if you remember this episode. It was called
Fact or Faked.
And they were trying to debunk it, and
Yes.
they couldn't.
They couldn't. As a matter of fact, they were doing it all wrong. And this is what I hate about these reality shows is it's all about viewership. You know, they don't get facts straight. They were trying. These things were only 2 feet tall. All right.
Yeah.
So if you remember the episode, they brought in a mannequin on a rope that was 6 feet tall, and they brought in a kid, put him in a suit, and they had him walk around doing this. And I'm going, what are you guys doing? These things were 2 feet tall. So you're not going to reproduce or try to debunk it using props that are 6 feet tall. And then after that, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm now understanding what Hollywood is all about. It's just about, you know, getting 30 minutes worth of airtime and whatever you need to do. They weren't there to try to say, yep, that's real, because they were doing it all wrong. And so, make a long story short, the Nightcrawlers became world famous. I mean, now you can buy shirts, bumper stickers. It's like no one really has the, you know, it's my idea or it's mine, you know. I was here when it all went down. They never came to me. 'Cause back in the 90s when it happened, I wasn't really doing this stuff. I started in 2003, 2004 is when I started.
Okay.
But I heard about the Nightcrawlers, and I thought, oh, cool, you know, this is awesome. But, yeah, I mean, I've had other people who told me they have seen these Nightcrawlers as well
I was going to ask.
around that area.
Wow.
But why? I mean, why that area? It's just middle of downtown. There's just neighborhoods. I don't get it. You know, I don't get
Yeah.
it. But I have a 24-hour hotline that I've had for 20 years.
Yeah. I heard UFO hotline, right?
A UFO hotline.
And how
It-
often do you get calls?
back in the days, it was nonstop. Now, very seldom do I get calls. And I get, because at this point in time, all the people who know of me back in the days, because I was on TV all the time, they would call me. But now, you know, I'm low key. I'm just doing my stuff. But like I said, I have good 10, 15 years worth of content that is just off the freaking hook. And it's because of the phone calls.
Have you ever had a phone call where it's like, Jeff, it's in the sky right now, and you look up and you line up with what you're being reported.
Back in 2007 and 2008, we used to have so many UFO sightings here in Fresno. It's you call that a UFO flap. And I came to the understanding, because you have to understand Area 51 is right over these mountain range, right over here.
Yeah.
Okay. China Lake is right over there, if I think I'm pointing it correctly.
What's China Lake?
China Lake is another underground facility base in Barstow.
Really?
Yeah. And then we have Lemoore, obviously, right here.
Now, does Lemoore have any? Because I live in Lemoore.
They have stuff on the ground. Of course they do. Sure. Fresno, Yosemite International Airport, there's something underneath as well.
Wow.
So back in the day, what they did, even before I started doing this, they would fly their top secret aircraft over Fresno, because Fresno people are they don't look up. This is a party
look
city.
Look up, people.
This is a party city. They don't care about that stuff. So they would come over and they would fly their triangles and their top secret stuff over Fresno and test it and see if people recognize what they are. And they never got anything until I came into the picture. And then I started having people who were my sky watchers at that time, who would go out on certain days. I figured it was Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. No, Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays is the day you wanted to go outside and look up, because those were the days that people were inside most of the time. Because Fridays, Saturdays, and Wednesdays, people would go out partying.
Yeah.
Okay. So I figured the day, because I was documenting all this, and I figured, oh my God, I got it.
You found a pattern.
I found a pattern. So all my people would go out with their cameras on these certain days, and they would be getting stuff. And then all of a sudden my phone would ring, and Jeff, there's, lights over here. I mean, on the west side of Fresno, I would get calls from, and this is legit, people would call me and say, Jeff, I am looking at an aircraft the size of a battle aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
Hovering over the grapevines.
That large.
And then they would say, oh my God, Jeff, it just dropped some things out of it. And they would take off. And I'm going, what? But what's cool about that is that my phone would ring again about people witnessing the same thing.
Oh, okay.
So it's just not one.
Witnesses.
Yeah, multiple witnesses. And then people would call, say, Jeff, there's these bright orbs flying this way, and then all of a sudden, you have to understand, we have the 144th Fighter Wing here in Fresno, California. They are the West Coast protectors. So if there's anything flying over the West Coast, our jets in Fresno take off. That's why you hear them take off all the time. They take off if there's UFOs, if there's stuff that's not supposed to be flying, they take off. And
so they protect our airspace.
They protect the West Coast airspace, and it's here in Fresno. Okay. So they take care. I mean, they take off to San Diego, north, whatever. They take care of the Pacific, and I remember I had several people call in about these two bright lights that are just flying, and all of a sudden, I hear the jets take off. So I run upstairs to my house. I open the curtain, and I see the jets chasing these two lights. And they're going like over the mountain range, and all of a sudden the two lights just went, whoosh, and the jets couldn't even catch up. I see the jets come back, and they just went and landed at the airport.
Imagine interviewing those pilots.
And see what's cool? It's just not me witnessing all this.
Yeah,
there's so many people who were. I mean, I got probably 5 calls on that night. Jeff, I saw it, and I would go on my show, and we would talk about it, and I'd have all those people who saw call in my show, and we would talk about it, and everybody had the same story.
Very cool.
It's awesome. Now, those lights, not ours, obviously. So, because it's like, why would our jets be chasing our own aircraft?
Yeah.
That's dangerous. That you don't want one of our jets crashing in the middle of frickin' Fresno or Clovis and killing people because they're chasing over. No. All right. So you need, why? What are these things? I don't know at this time. I mean, I have answers, but I have theories and stuff like that. But the stuff that is happening here is not just aliens and UFOs, man. It's way more than that.
Wow. Okay, so speaking of way more than that, we go back. I'm going to go back to like 1997, 98 maybe. And I hear about this guy on the radio. And I'm not really, tuned in exactly. And my friend says, no, check this out. And he brings me this recording. And he says, listen, there's this radio show. And this guy's playing the Siberian sounds from hell. And I'm like, what is it? And he said, well, they're digging for oil in Siberia. And they put a microphone down there. And they're hearing voices.
You talking about the Art Bell show?
Well, I was going to.
Okay, sorry.
I was going to lead it. That's fine. Art Bell. And
my hero.
Okay, so let's talk about your relationship with Art Bell and how that all came about.
I don't even remember what year it was. 18, 17, 16, 2017. I got a call. He had left Coast to Coast, and because he got thrown out, basically. That was his show, but I guess he got bought out, and then George Norrie came in and took over, and then he started his own network on the internet called the Art Bell Network. And one day his people called me, said, hey, do you want to do your show on the Art Bell Network? I said, yeah.
And how long had you been a listener earlier years? Or?
I used to. Do you have any water? Excuse me. But
I just brought a case.
So back in the days in the 90s, his shows were 4 or 5 hours long, right?
Yeah.
And back in the day, I had to work, and I couldn't. His show started at 10 o'clock. I could not stay up to 2 o'clock in the morning. So thanks.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I get my VCR, and back in the day, for those people who know VCR, you can set it to 2, 4, 6 hours with the moving the tab. So I would move the tab to the 6-hour mode, and I would run the audio cable from my radio to the VCR, and I would record 6 hours or 4 hours, and then the next day when I got home from work, I would listen to it and do it every day. So Art Bell, that dude was a bomb. I used to listen to him every freaking night. So when I got a call from the Art Bell Network, it's like,
the big leagues.
Oh my God! Of course I want to be part of this. So I was on the Art Bell Network for 2 years. I turned out to be the #1 show on there under Art Bell, because Art Bell had his own show, and under me, I had a show.
Wow!
And I remember Keith, his sound guy, who was in Arizona, who would monitor all the sounds from over there. I remember because I had the computer screen next to me, and he would go and he would, on the screen, I could see what he's typing, and he says, "Okay, 2 minutes of music," and then. He would, and then I remember one day, and I actually took a snapshot, and he said, "Jeff, you are trending #1 on the TuneIn app on the time slot on that day." Nice. And I went, "What?" And throughout the world, I was trending #1.
Wow.
And I went, "Oh my God." So I went for 2 years. That's where a lot of people found me from the Art Bell. Because everybody left. Or didn't want to go to Coast anymore because they hated what they did to Art Bell. So I gained so many people through the Art Bell Network. And unfortunately, I said 2 years because Art Bell passed away.
Yeah.
And they wanted me to stick around. It's like, nah, you know what? I was here because of Art Bell. And the Art Bell Network is not going to be the same without him. So I left and I departed ways.
But you met him, like.
No. I never met him.
You never got to meet him?
I never got to meet him. He was in Pahrump, Nevada, in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Pahrump,
Nevada, in the middle of nowhere. And it was, nowadays with the technology, you don't have to go down there. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. So, I was doing everything from Fresno, California, and on the Art Bell Network.
Awesome.
But no, I would have loved to have met him, but unfortunately, I never did.
And so you did it. You did a 2-year run there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you then transitioned over to, is that when you transitioned? No, you already had your channel.
Yeah.
Paranormal Central.
I was doing Paranormal Central. I started with the Sanger Paranormal Society.
Okay.
That's when James became known. I had the
SPS.
The Sanger Paranormal Society. I had
Did you have a crew?
I had a crew in an ambulance.
Oh, nice.
Have you ever seen the ambulance?
No.
Yeah, I had a black ambulance tricked out.
Where did you get an ambulance?
Because I'm a nerd.
Well, in the story is every paranormal investigative team needed to have a vehicle.
Right? So I had so
An ambulance.
I found one on Belmont Avenue, and it was broke down, and I was doing some work over there, and I saw this ambulance, and I said, "Oh my God!" And it was all white and broken down, not running, and I bought it, and I had it fixed up, and it took me a while to get it to a point.
I love that it was an ambulance.
It was a real working ambulance back in the day from Jones Ambulance, okay? And what's even cooler is that when we first brought it home, I set up security cameras around my house and a TV set in the family room so we were able to watch the cul-de-sac, right? So when I brought the ambulance to the house, I parked it in the cul-de-sac. My son Christian was probably 3 or 4 years old at that time. I remember one day my wife and I were watching TV, and my son Christian walked over to the screen and was looking at the screen, and we're looking at him, and he goes, "Dad, there's a boy next to the ambulance." And we're looking, what? There's a naked boy at the ambulance. And we're like, what?
A naked boy.
A naked boy. And he's black. So me and my wife, we run to the front, to the dining room to open the curtains. We don't see anything there. And my son's looking. Yeah, there's a naked black boy just standing at the sidewalk looking at the house. Well, we figured, you know what? That was a working ambulance back in the day. My son, now that we know, he has a gift because my grandma has a gift. And we could talk about that. My abuelita, it's like, oh my God, I need to talk to you about that. But anyways, so back when he was a child, before they get to a certain age, the purity goes away. So he was able to see things. He saw things in the house, and we thought he was just messing around. But we think that little black boy died in the ambulance, probably en route, and he was naked because they were working on him. And when the ambulance came to our house, we brought whatever was part of that ambulance, and it was a little black boy.
Wow. Okay, so wow. I want to go back a little bit.
Don't even know where to go with that. Yeah.
I want to go back because I know you said you were following things and in tune in the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is an incident that happened to my sister, and I want to see if there was multiple sightings on this. I want to say the year was about anywhere between 87 and like 91. I think this happened because I remember being home when it happened. My sister came in the house and she's crying and she's falling apart, and she runs to my mom and she's like, "I'm so scared, Mom." And the only reason it resonated with me is because I saw the fear in her eyes. And, you grew up with somebody, you know them.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to premise this by saying that she's never had any hallucinations.
Mm-hmm.
She's never experimented with drugs, right? Because I know a lot of people kind of jump to the mushrooms. So anyway, she's driving home from, she went with my cousin late night bingo at the Palace in Lemoore. She's on Manning Avenue, which at the time I think was like a 4-lane, maybe bigger, going between Reedley and Parlier.
Oh shoot!
And
I already know what you're gonna say.
She's driving and she had the window open.
Mm-hmm.
Her cousin who we dropped off left the window open, and there was an old truck. This is the roll windows. Kids back in the day used to roll your own window like manually with your hand in this side of motion because they're like, "What is he doing?"
Right.
And so she couldn't reach it from her side, but she said she's driving, and she kind of felt, you can kind of feel a presence, and she looks up, and she sees the bottom of what she said it would look like a bat, but about the size of a medium-sized dog. And she looks up, and it's kind of floating above, like hovering above the vehicle. And she's going about 50, 60 miles per hour.
Sure it wasn't a pterodactyl?
I don't know.
I think that's what it was. Go
She
ahead.
rips in fright. She rips the steering wheel to the right and goes across like 2 lanes. And this thing's just kind of gliding right over with her. And she's going 60, 70, 80, and it's still just hanging with her. And she's trying to roll up her window to get to it. And finally, she said after about a good 3 or 4 miles, it went off into the darkness. And her best description of it was large bat-like wings, but the body was like the size of a medium-sized dog. So it definitely wasn't a bat.
No.
it was too large to be that.
Okay.
And she said didn't have any owl-like features. It was.
Did she see a beak on it? Oh, it was at nighttime though, right?
Yeah.
So it was probably hard.
She saw the body and the wingspan is all she could see, and then the rest was her running away. So she gets home, she's frantic, she's screaming, and we were trying to check the newspaper and news reports for anyone else having any sightings the next day, and to my recollection, I believe there was multiple sightings of a large, bat-like creature flying through the skies. I'm wondering if that hit your radar.
You ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to say probably 2005, 2006, my first call. One of my first calls I got was from a truck driver who lived on McCall towards Selma. And he said he would get up in the morning, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. He lived out in the country to get into his truck to go to the truck yard. And he said one morning he came out and he looked up and his place is pretty lit up. And he saw this big, large wing thing fly, had leather wings. And then he says, Jeff, he goes, it was a pterodactyl.
What?
Okay, it was a pterodactyl. And I went, what? So, okay, ready for this?
Yeah.
So I talked about pterodactyls on my show. Matter of fact, I got a photograph of a pterodactyl over at Maple and Belmont Avenue. I have a photograph. A guy who was at a car dealership there was waiting for his friend, and he saw this thing flying over. He goes, "Oh, that's a cool kite." Until it went whoosh, and it went up like that, and it took a dive, and he took out his camera and on his phone and took a picture before it went down. Okay. So when I started talking about pterodactyls, I received a couple of emails from somebody who was anonymous, giving me, and I have them to show you if you want after the show,
Yeah.
of newspaper clippings from the Los Angeles Herald before it became the Los Angeles Times from 1891, I think it was. In 1891, in Los Angeles, they used to take people to go hunt pterodactyls in Selma, California, off the Kings River.
What?
Yes, that's printed. It is legit. So they brought people from Los Angeles to Kings River in Selma to go hunt dragon-like creatures that were pterodactyls. And that is in the Los Angeles Herald.
Wow.
So we have, don't tell me where they're at, but we have pterodactyl animals living that are dinosaurs that are living here in the Central Valley. People see them near Pine Flat, near the Kings River. They see them all the time. But where they are hiding, I have no idea. I have never seen one until the guy who took that photograph, and I have the photograph. But when I received the newspaper clippings stating that people would go on hunting expeditions to pterodactyl to Selma, California, off of McCall.
Wow. That specific, huh?
Yes. I mean, we're talking the Kings River, River, Selma. It's printed, all right, in 1891. I am not making this stuff up.
Right, I've seen this article.
You've seen the article?
So it's like you have people witnessing to this day pterodactyls.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you have proof that, 100 years ago, not millions of years ago, that people would come to go hunt these things.
This is crazy. All right here in the Central Valley.
And that's just that's just a little bit of what's going on. I mean, I know people are listening right now. They go, Jeff, you're smoking the crack. I know. I get it. I've been laughed at. People have made me tinfoil hats to wear. but you have to understand something. The stuff that I do and witness, I'm not by myself. I have people who are with me, teams, different teams, and it's like I would not be talking about this unless I had people to back me up on.
Yeah.
All right? So I'm not losing it. And it's fun because I take people with me and they're going, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it's like I've taken people with me Bigfooting, and they don't believe, and these things happen, and they're freaking calling me every week. When are we going to go back? When are we going to go back? When are we going to? Because they are now hooked. And these people I take back with me because it's like, I'll buy all the food. I don't care. You want money for gas? I'll take. They enjoy it because every time we go, I'm sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent. I know, but this is fun. We're looking for monsters.
Yeah.
I'm finding monsters. Like, come on. What year is this?
2024.
And
okay, speaking of that, we're going to get back to Bigfoot because I really want to. But
we haven't even got into that
we're
yet.
talking about October 2024. And if you've watched Jeff's channel, which we'll put a link on here on YouTube, it's called Paranormal Central, correct?
Yep.
He made a statement that it sent shivers down my spine. I don't know if you caught this, but he's like, guys, I'm telling you, in the next 3 weeks,
yep,
something's going down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, oh, Jet, what is it, Jet? Like, tell us. Like, where's this feeling coming from?
This is when I started the paranormal stuff, it's like it branched off supernatural. I throw in religion, I throw in politics, conspiracy stuff. I'm all over the place because it all intertwines together. I have been talking about, I even talk about the Illuminati. I talk about all of that, right? The deep state, men in black, the government. We have the election coming up here on November the 5th.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to tell you who I'm voting for, but there is something going on right now and have been for the past 10 years that they're trying to get rid of all the bad people in the world. There are bad people, bad governments, people who are doing bad things to us. The way we are living right now, we're not supposed to be living. Taxes, all of this stuff we're not supposed to be living like that. There are cures for cancers right now that I have already talked about on my show. That's another thing. That's another story. Don't worry. Okay, so there's two people running for president right now, a man and a woman.
Yeah.
Okay. They are saying that if this man, who has already been president before, gets to be president again, he's going to start arresting all of these bad people who have been doing bad things to us, to you, to James, to me, to the family. And it's called the deep state. They have been running this country to the ground, keeping us as slaves. And again, it is not here or there. It's so much to talk about. Anyways, if this man wins as president, the bad government are going to create chaos because they don't want him as president because he is going to start arresting for legal reasons, not just because you said a bad thing about me, I'm going to throw you in jail. No, there are things that you are going to figure out, like this whole P. Diddy thing.
Yeah.
Okay, this P. Diddy thing is totally legit. Anyways, I don't want to get into that because this is a paranormal show. But I'm telling people to be ready in the next 3 weeks that the bad guys are going to do something very drastic. And you better have food, gasoline, because it is going to get... You remember the riots of the 2020 when that man won president and people went on chaos? It's going to get worse than that.
Wow.
It's going to get really bad.
And so is this based off of just a vibe, or is it you putting connecting some dots?
That's a lot of dots. I have been on this for years, and I'm not the only one talking about it. I know for a fact something is going to happen. Trust me when I say this. I have been right on so much.
There's a whole, and he's right, Rob, there's like a whole underworld of investigative websites and people that are following this for years and decades of knowing what it is. And there's always these little tidbits that sneak through that lure people into
the rabbit hole.
Yes. But it doesn't lure them. It reassures that, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I've heard this before. So, and it's bigger than the Illuminati. It's bigger than, it's all kind of, like you said, tied together.
Yeah.
But, and Robert, I'm going to mention something what he said before as far as getting excited about some of this stuff. I've actually worked with Jeff before on his show and some of these investigative things that we've done. And it's you got to see it for yourself.
Oh, you've
witnessed it. I've recorded it.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that I've actually documented with him. We did an investigate, and I actually used some of that in my classroom. But it's not just him speaking, smoke and mirrors stuff right now. It's interesting. So his podcast and show's legit.
What's good about what I do is I tell people I'm just not up here talking about it. I'm actually living it. That's one of my quotes that I do. And I have solid evidence of video, pictures. I have people who go with me who witness this thing who can back me up. All right. I have so much cool stuff. I just can't believe Hollywood has not come knocking on my door.
That's what I told Jim.
Okay.
I was like, how does he not have a show?
It's like oh my God. In 2017, I got to do something. I got to show people this. So what I did is I went to the Fox network here in Fresno, and I set up a meeting with the general manager there, Jack Peck. And I sat down with Jack Peck, and I told him my idea, and he was sitting at his desk, and I said, this is what I have my idea, a talk show, whatever. And he goes, okay, go shoot me a pilot. So James was there. I rented out the Crest Theater in downtown Fresno.
The Crest. I watch movies there.
Okay.
I love that.
And I set up because my whole idea of this was to have a paranormal talk show. And all I would do is talk paranormal to people. But I would also go and investigate. It would be a combination of both.
Yeah.
So I set up this massive, badass, talk show format stage at the Crest Theater, and we filmed 3 episodes. And
do they provide you with the budget for your?
No, I did that all in my own pocket. My own
Wow.
pocket. All to this day, all the stuff you see on my podcast, it's out of my own pocket. I don't have sponsors. I've worked for AT&T for 25 years now, so I make pretty good money. My wife works, so she sees what I'm doing, and she's into the stuff too.
Oh, good.
And because that's one of the things when we got together is like, we love the same things. So she's seen me progress. She's witnessed things with me, the screams, the hitting on the side of the trailer with her in it. It's like awesome. So she gets it.
Related to Bigfoot, right? Because we haven't talked about that.
Yeah, related to the Bigfoot. Sorry about that. But anyways, God, I just lost my train of thought. What was I talking about?
You were talking about you set up a Crest Theater pilot.
The Crest Theater, thank you. So I took that episode, edited it, and took it to Jack Peck, and Jack Peck and his right-hand man, I forgot, Tyler Kinsey, I think, right? And they looked at it, and they looked at each other, and they went, and I remember Tyler grabbed the whatever we had the show on and ran down the hallway to make a copy, and he ran back, and he goes, all right, I'll air this. And I'm going, okay, well, how much is it going to cost me? And they go, no, I'll air this for free. I'm like, what? And so he put me on the Fox Network, Channel 26 at 11:30 on a Friday night. And then the following week, he put it on the CW at 12 midnight on a Saturday night. And he goes, go shoot me some more. And I'm all, okay. And he goes, if you shoot me 26 episodes, I'll put on 26 episodes for free.
Wow.
And I'll give you half of the commercials. But at that time, I didn't do nothing about filming. I didn't have any equipment. So I hired a production company here, and they filmed 3 or 4 episodes at thousands of dollars. And I said, I can't do it anymore. I can't afford it. So he aired those 3. I found a production company who did it, but they were doing it all wrong. It's like I did, like, oh my God, they were just messing everything up. But he knew what I had. And he told me, Jeff, he goes, man, if you give me 26 episodes, I'll put you on TV for a whole year, and then I'll put it into the system. Because I remember that episode. He put it into the computer system throughout the nation, and all the affiliates were able to grab it. And I remembered he said like something like 10 affiliates grabbed it, and they aired it on their station network.
Oh, nice.
And then at that time I was on YouTube, and I remember my viewership went, like, where did that come from? Then I found out, well, yeah, people are finding you because they aired it in Wisconsin or in Texas.
Yeah.
So, I know I have the content, but that time I didn't have a budget. It's like, oh my God, help me out, people. And Jack Peck couldn't do anything. He even said, Jeff, do you want to come and we'll make you a stage set up here for your talk show? He said he was going to build one for me on here. And then at that time I had my set up at home that I shoot at, and I'm going, well, I got one here already. There's no reason for you to do it there. But I guess they were, they needed content, which was awesome. But I know I have the stuff. Jack Peck saw it. And unfortunately, he no longer works there anymore. He moved on. But I know I have something special.
Yeah.
I haven't stopped yet because my phone hasn't stopped ringing yet. It's just not monsters. It's everything paranormal that happens here. And I don't know why. And I'm thinking, you know what? It's probably happening all over the United States. Everybody has the same thing going on, but they don't know that their neighbor just saw a flying saucer, or their neighbor across the town saw a Bigfoot or a Nightcrawler, because word doesn't get around. Here, I've created a network where people can call and talk to each other. And when I do my podcast, people are on chat and they talk about what's happening here, and they go, and they get it. They go, this is probably happening all over the place, but they don't know. It's, I don't know. I've found a place, and the reason why I call it Paranormal Central, because man, there's so much going on here. It's incredible. I have so many stories. So many stories. Yeah. I mean, let's talk Bigfoot. I mean, I'm going to blow your mind on this Bigfoot stuff right now if you want to go there. But man, oh God, it's like.
So yeah, you mentioned Bigfoot, and when you mentioned it on your show, immediately, Jim, I don't know if you thought this when he first talked about it. I was like, oh, he's making trips to like Washington and Oregon area, like Bigfoot Central. And then when I'm sitting here next to you, right before we started, you're like, dude, I'm like down the street in Pine Flat and Kings River. So where is most of the Bigfoot activity for the Central Valley?
Kings River.
The Kings River.
Kings River.
Do you have a theory about why that area?
It's a
water source.
Well, the water source, but I believe we have had Bigfoots running around the valley. I didn't know this, but for one thing, the Central Valley is the breadbasket of the world, the food source.
Yes.
We grow everything here. Vegetables, fruits, oranges, peaches. We have everything. So we have a food source here in the valley. I mean, you got Orosi, Orange Cove, Delray, Parlier, Sanger. You drive out there, you see everything. It's a food source.
And it's right next
by
to
the foothills.
By the foothills.
Yes, and on the Kings River.
So I can go to the foothills and I can come down for my food source and then
go back up. But Bigfoot, and we're talking Bigfoot now, they're also meat eaters, all right? They eat dogs, cats, deer, wild pig. We have an abundance of that. And when my name gets out and I finally get my show on TV, these ranchers who live in those areas are probably going to call me and they're going to go, man, I have lost so many goats or so many calves, and I would go to the pen and I would see the gate unlocked and open. And I'm like, and they would probably go, how did that happen? Where's my goats? Because the Bigfoots are taking them.
You think a lot of this is getting blamed on like mountain lions?
Exactly. That's the first thing they're going to think is, oh crap, a mountain lion took my goat again. All right.
Yeah.
I have so many stories, man. How long was this show?
I want to start. Okay, so here's the one that I was going to ask.
Oh my God.
You. Okay,
Jeez.
So I watch some of the Bigfoot shows on television, right? And every time I'm watching it, I don't know if you do this, Jim. My mindset is, how are they going to spin this? To have an entire episode where we know there will be no significant evidence, right? And sure enough, they kind of string it along. But you say that you've had multiple cases of evidence. So let's hear about the one.
So in 2007, when I was doing just ghost hunting, when James got involved, somebody told me, hey, did you know that there is a high school principal here in Fresno who's been investigating Bigfoot for 20 years before I even started? And I said, really? I came in contact with him. His name is David Ragosa. And I got his number, and I called him, and I told him
High school principal?
Huh?
He's a high school.
He's a high school principal.
Where's he at? Which high school?
Right now, he is in Madera.
Madera High School.
I don't know what high school. I had to find out. He gets moved around quite a bit because that's what the principals do. He was in Central for a while, and they moved him to Madera, I believe. But so I called him. I told him who I was and what I was doing, and I was interested in Bigfoot. So I said, okay, why don't you come over to my house and we'll talk. Went to his house. We talked, and he liked me. And he says, well, I'm going to be going to this spot that I've been going for 20 years. I go every year, and I go put up game cameras. And these game cameras are motion sensor cameras that you put on trees, and you belt them on, and they're sensors where if something walked in front of them, it takes a picture, right? Yeah. So that's Bigfoot investigators do this all over the world. And he's been doing that for a long time. He says, well, I'm going to be going up next week to go put up like 4 or 5 cameras. You want to go with me? And I said, yes, because, anything Bigfoot at that time was only on TV. Here, I am now getting invited to go to a location where he says there are Bigfoots, and the stories that he has told me. Let me tell you something. We left on a Saturday morning. That Friday, I could not sleep. I was so freaking excited. It was like a kid the day before Christmas. I was tossing and turning. It's like, I just could not sleep because I am going to go Bigfoot investigating. Come on.
And this was your first?
This is my first time, and I would have never thought in a million years this was possible. You're telling me there's Bigfoots in the Sierra Mountains just east of Fresno?
Yeah.
Are you nuts? I thought you had to go to Washington, Pacific Northwest.
That's exactly what I thought.
Right? Fresno? Are you kidding me? So he took me. We went up, and we posted these, put up these cameras.
Now, where is this Dunlap?
This is a location in Badger, California.
Okay,
I can't tell anybody exactly where because this is like things that have happened. And we're going to get to it. But so we put up these cameras, and we're walking around, and just in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, there's Bigfoots here, and I am so excited. We didn't see anything at that time, right? But just to be in a location where there are Bigfoots, and he's told me stories, and my mind is just boom. And so we put up these cameras, and we go home, and he says, we're going to come back up next month to go get the cameras and get these SD cards that are in these cameras, and then to see if we got anything, right? So he called me, and I'm, oh my God, a month waiting for this call for David to call me. He finally called me. He says, I'm going Saturday. Yes. Okay. So we go up to the spot again. So we go to these cameras, and and before we left, he goes, Jeff, do you have a laptop computer by any chance? And I said, yeah. He goes, well, bring that with you because we'll get the SD cards and we'll put them in the laptop, and we'll go through all the pictures to see if, what we get. So I said, no problem. So I got my laptop. We go up, and we get the SD cards, and we download them all on my laptop, and we're going through them, and we get deer, we got bear, and all of that. We went through them really quick, and he got the SD cards, and we put new ones in the cameras, and he took the SD cards home, and he dropped me off at my house, and I had my laptop, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're in the family room, and I get a phone call. And I will always remember this. Cause me and my wife were watching 2.5 Men, right? And the phone call, and David goes, hey, Jeff. He goes, do you still have the pictures on your laptop? And I said, yeah, I do. And he goes, do me a favor. Turn it on and go to SD card number 3, picture number 51. And I said, okay, hold on. Pull it up. Okay, I'm there. He goes, do you see it? See what? Top left-hand corner. Zoom in. And so I zoom in, zoom. And there's this freaking Bigfoot walking. And I remember I got up and I started screaming. I went, oh my God. And then David goes, you're looking at it, right? I'm all, yeah. And I go, Cheryl. And I turn to the laptop, and she goes this, and she goes, I'm going,
so Cheryl saw it too.
Look. And I'm going, oh my God. He goes, yes. I go, you see it? I'm going, of course I see it. So it was this It was a Bigfoot that was probably about 75 yards away, and it was small. And I'm going, how did the camera, why? It was so far away. How did the camera take a picture of it? Because it had to be censored, right? Well, I guess that day it was very windy, and the weeds in the front of the camera were moving. It was taking pictures every like 10 seconds. So in that particular SD card, there was probably like 400 pictures, right? What happens is David always goes through all of his SD cards and goes through every single picture and analyzes everything to see if there is something there.
Yeah.
And so I went, oh my God. I told him, I go, David, can I put this on my website? Can I talk about it? He says, yes, but you're going to have a problem. And I'm going, what? He goes, when you put this out and tell everybody what it is, you're going to get harassed. You're going to get trolled. The people are going to say, it's not a Bigfoot, it's something else. I'm going, what are you talking about? I see the hands. I see the fingers. I see the face. And he goes, well, before you do that, Jeff, let's go back up and see if we can debunk it. So a week later, we went up. It was David, myself, my wife, Cheryl, one of my team members, Emerald, at that time. And I think it was 4 or 5 of us. So we go up to the exact same place. And I had to locate 75 yards away where this thing was at. And it was hard because you go up to the wilderness, it's like, oh my God, okay, I think it's over there. So David is way over there where the camera was at. And he's going, move 20 feet to the left. And I'm moving this way. I'm moving. It took us probably 45 minutes. And then David goes, stop. Stand right there. That's exactly where that thing was. So Cheryl, my wife, comes over with the camera and starts taking pictures. And we placed me standing in the same place that this thing was, where it was at. And we knew we were in the right place because there was this tree branch hanging over where the head of this Bigfoot was in it. But the only problem is it was way up there. And so we took measurements, and I'm 6'2". This Bigfoot was probably 11 feet tall. and I know we were in the right place because the tree matches, everything matched.
Yeah.
And then some people were going, oh, that's just a person in a suit. I'm all, okay. For one thing, nobody knew where we were at. Nobody is going to come over if they're hunting, see a camera on a tree and go, oh my God, let
me go grab my suit.
Let me go get my suit. Maybe they're here for Bigfoot. Really? Okay. No, we were here because David Ragosa knows this area has Bigfoots. He has brought up people in the past. They have seen Bigfoots there. That's why we are there. So this picture, I finally put on Facebook. I put it on my website, and I got harassed. I mean, people were saying, nope, it was a shadow. Nope, it's part of a tree. Nope, it was this. Nope, it's that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why people who have legit pictures of Bigfoot don't put on the social media or the website because
they don't want to deal with it.
Because they don't want to deal with it. But I'm the type of guy is I'm not going to take crap from anybody. I know what we got, and I'm gonna stand up for myself. So that's what I started doing. I started saying, no, this is what happened. I started giving people evidence, and then people in the Bigfoot community were texting me on the side going, get him, Jeff, get him, Jeff. Because nobody did that. I was the first one who said, shut up. This is what this is, blah, blah, blah. And I put these other people, and I'll tell you why they were going after me. It's because me, out of nowhere, Jeffrey Gonzalez comes out of nowhere and has this legit 11-foot tall Bigfoot. And these people who have been investigating for 15 years cannot even get a picture like that. And I got one. And they were pissed. That's the reason why they were harassing me and trying to put me down, trying to shut me up. And I came back and I said, no, this is this. And everybody finally shut up. And that's how I became known in the Bigfoot community, because I stood my ground and I said, no, this is what it is. And it is. I got a Bigfoot picture. It's David Ragosa's, but I have it. It's on my website.
I'm going to have to check that out.
And then from there on, I have been going to this spot since 2007. And the things that have happened there, not only with Bigfoot, guys, it's like I lost time with 2 of my buddies there. So,
like an abduction?
Yeah, so one weekend I told my buddy Alan and Robert, said, I'm going to go up. I'm going to go put 2 cameras up at on these 2 trees, because one day, a month ago, when we were there back before, we go walking around to find evidence, and we were walking up this hill, and I looked at this tree. I'm going, man, look at this tree. This is an awesome tree, and Bigfoots climb trees. And I said, this would be a perfect tree for Bigfoot to climb. And I was looking up, and I saw, and I took a picture. I saw this log shoved into this tree, a tree knot hole way up there. And I'm going out, you guys, look. I go, this part of a branch is stuck into the tree way up there. And then on top of that, there was a tree branch that came out of the tree that all the bark was missing, and it was green, like something was swinging on it. So I said, oh my God. So there was 2 trees over here. I decided, you know what? I'm going to come back next month, and I'm going to put 2 cameras. I work for the phone company. I'm the only one that does this throughout the United States. I gap trees. In other words, I put the cameras, instead of down here, I put the cameras 17 feet up, facing downward. So that way, hunters, bears, or whatever.
How do you get up there?
I gaff. I put the gaffs on, and I chivvy up.
Oh, that's what that's called?
Yeah, and I gaff up the tree, and I put the cameras up there, right? So I put 2 cameras up there, and we took pictures, and I put the screw in there, and I put the camera, put the nut, and I faced them down at that base of that tree. That I thought, if the Bigfoots are going to climb that tree again, I'm going to get them climbing that tree, right? So I put the 2 cameras up, and my 2 buddies who were with me, we got back in the truck and we left. And then I think 2 weeks later, I said, hey, guys, let's go back and get them. All right, you ready for this? So we're driving in the dirt road, middle of nowhere. It's not a campground. This is in the middle of nowhere. And we're driving, and we're getting close to our destination. And then all of a sudden, and I have proof. My 2 buddies can vouch for this. So my buddy Alan is in the back seat, and my buddy Robert Scott is in the passenger. I'm driving my 25 GMC HD truck, which is outside. And all of a sudden, I have electronic door locks. They all started going tick, 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 tick. So I turned around to Alan. I said, Alan, get your elbow off, right? Next thing I remember is I woke up, and I'm driving, and all of a sudden, tree limbs and trees, branches are hitting the windshield. And I hit the brakes. And I'm going, where am I? And I turned to Alan and I go, did we miss the spot that I have been going for 10 years? And then I turned to Robert Scott, and my buddy Robert's like this.
He's out.
He's out. So I go, dude. And he goes, where are we? And I go, at this point in time, I don't know. So I had to put it in reverse.
But you're off the road.
No, I'm on the dirt road, but I'm at the end of the dirt road, and we passed it. I don't know. At this point in time, I don't know. So I put it in reverse, and I drove all the way back out, and I made a U-E, and I started driving back, and I'm telling the guys, how did we miss the spot? We've been driving to this spot since forever. How did we do it? And I'm talking to Alan, and we're like, what the hell happened? We're tripping. So we passed the spot where we always camp, and I don't even remember passing that spot. So we drove a little bit more, and I parked it, and we climbed up the hill. I go, the cameras are right there. And they go, I know. So let's climb up. We climb up the hill. My cameras are gone. I'm like, what? I look up, and I go, this is the 2 trees. I go, yeah, because here's the tree that, and I'm looking up, and I'm going, even the screw that I screwed in, they're both gone. The screws are gone. The cameras are gone. So I'm going, okay, did a couple of hunters come around here and shoot them out? I'm going, well, if they would have done that with a shotgun, there would have been bark and holes, and there's nothing. So we're looking on the ground, nothing. I'm going, what the heck? So I just lost $250 worth of cameras. And so we go back to the truck, but what's weird is that we're still trying to figure out how we passed the spot. And I ended up way over there. So we're tripping. It's like,
how about time-wise? Did you check the clock?
I just did. So we weren't looking at our watch. We weren't looking at any of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at that point in time, losing time was not even the back of my head. So we go home, and we're tripping on everything that happened that day. And so we got home. I drop off Alan, drop off Robert. The following, okay, this is going to get a little gross, but too bad. So I work for the phone company. I'm driving out doing my service calls, and I have lunch at the El Pollo Loco. I remember exactly where I was, at Marora and Shaw Avenue, the one over there, not Marora, but West. And I had to go to the bathroom. Okay, I know it's going to sound weird, but too bad. So I went to the bathroom and I sat down and I did my duty, and I went, what the hell? I'm looking at my relief, and I'm going, what the hell did I eat for lunch the following day? I'm looking at it and I'm going, I have never seen diarrhea like that. It looked like salsa, but it's like, what the hell did I eat? And I'm going, I never ate anything like that. And the day before is where I lost time. So I said, okay, I'm going to call my buddy Alan and see if and so I called my buddy Alan on the cell phone. I thought, hey, Alan, Jeff. I go, hey, what's up? He goes, dude, I'm going to ask you a question, and it's probably going to sound yuck, but here it goes. Did you go to the bathroom today? And he goes, yeah.
Did you have a salsa dump?
No, check it out. So I go, did you go to the bathroom? And he goes, yeah. I'm going, was it weird? Yeah. I go, can you tell me what you pooped? And then he described exactly what I pooped. I'm going, what? But see, we didn't go to a restaurant before we left together to eat the same thing.
No chunky salsa.
No. So I called my buddy Robert Scott. I told him exactly the same thing. And I told him, did you go to the bathroom today? He goes, yeah. And he goes, did you poop something? And he goes, yeah.
It's funny that they didn't call you.
So we all had the same freaking, it wasn't poop. It was freaking diarrhea of salsa. And I'm going, what the hell is that? So I'm going, then I'm trying to put two and two together. I'm going, okay, we lost time. Did we get fucking probed? Excuse my language. Probed? Or what? We don't know what happened. We don't know, but we all pooped the same poop.
You got hit with some radiation crap or
I
something.
don't know what happened.
Wow.
But we lost time. And then I remember my buddy Alan, he says, when we finally woke up and the tree branches were hitting the windshield, when I turned around and looked at Alan was looking at me, he said, Jeff, he goes, I didn't tell you this, but when I was looking at you, the dashboard lights were going, bzz, 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 bzz. I'm going, what the heck? Now we're talking 4 years, 5 years down the road. I have this rash on my left ankle, all right? And I've had it for a long time. And I went to the doctor. The doctor gave me some ointment, put it on, blah, blah, blah. And it just won't go away. So 3 years ago, during the COVID epidemic, my wife, Christian, and myself went to Vegas. And we went out of the Fresno airport. So we were getting in line, putting our stuff in the basket to walk into that, and in this one here, in Fresno, it goes around, it goes zzz, like this around you, right? So I was the first. I put all my metal into the basket, and I walked through. Then all of a sudden, it goes around me, and I walk out, and it goes, doot, 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 doot. And I see the screen, the thing that they have, and it's a red dot pointing at my ankle. And all of a sudden, the security guards jumped me because they thought like I had a knife or a gun. And they got down there, and they pulled my thing up, right? And they went, oh, sorry. And I'm going, okay. And I didn't think anything of it. So we go to Vegas. We flew. 2 days later, we at McCarran Airport, and I go through the thing again. The security guys try to jump me, think I have a gun, and at that time I'm looking at my wife and Christian, and they're going. So I'm going, what the heck do I have in my ankle? At that rash, and I'm thinking, do I have an implant?
Yeah.
Do I have an implant? So I went and I got X-rays. X-rays didn't show anything.
X-ray.
The next thing is the MRI, but it's like that costs money, and I know I'm saving that for TV. I'm going to save that for TV. I think I have an implant. I have the rash. It won't go away. There it is.
Now, what about the other two guys?
They don't have a rash.
But you've had this before you had this incident, or after?
No,
Oh,
after. Yeah, the rash started to form, and I didn't put two and two together.
Sure.
Come on, me being abducted, losing time, in a million years, I would never think that would have happened to me.
Yeah.
But it happened in a place where there are Bigfoots. Why would we lose time? So was it the government doing this so that way they found out that we were coming up to get the cameras, and they wanted to get the cameras first before I got them because there was probably some killer evidence on those SD cards.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking happened. Somehow they zapped us, but I've heard that Bigfoots also have that availability to do that. We have been at the campground. When I say campground, it's our site that we go camping.
Yeah.
We have heard voices that sound like aliens. So much things happen at that location. We don't know. It's a Native American land for one thing, and the things that have happened to us there, it's like, are you kidding me? You know? So we go there many times as we can.
Who owns the property?
No, it's BLM.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it is almost like another Skinwalker Ranch.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
with a Bigfoot form instead of aliens.
Bigfoot and who? I lost time there. I lost time there with two of my buddies.
Wow.
You know, and it's like, what the heck?
So let's go down this rabbit hole.
How many holes do you want to dig?
So no, this one really like caught me. Like today, I was thinking about it all day when you said it. At the beginning of your last episode, I think you did on Friday night, you said that they've tried to shut you down multiple times. Mm-hmm. When you said that, I thought about this Netflix documentary I'd seen once about a guy who worked at Area 51, and he kept telling everybody, "Hey, listen, if I disappear, it's because I'm spilling company secrets."
Right.
I used to work there, and then he goes on to talk about different things, and then there's also all this documentation of him being followed and his phone being tapped, and I thought of you. Because I said, okay, I think Jeff might be making some people uncomfortable with his discoveries.
Yep.
Let's talk some of these incidents where you've been followed and you've had things shut down.
I guess when I first realized that I was onto something is my sister, Veronica, was at the Walmart in Sanger. And she called my 24-hour hotline for some reason, and she said she was out in the parking lot. She goes, "Jeff," she goes, "there is a big triangle flying over Walmart heading towards you right now." And I'm all, "What?" And I'm outside. I run outside to see if I can see it, and I'm on my 24-hour hotline. And she goes, I go, "Veronica, which way is it going?" She goes, "It's going click." I go, Veronica. And I got full bars, so I call her back, and she goes, I go, "What happened?" She goes, "I don't know, it got disconnected." And she goes, "Okay, which way is it going?" And she goes, "It's going click." It happened 3 times that she was trying to give me directions on this thing, and her phone went dead. Yet she had full bars, and I had full bars. That's not supposed to happen on cell phones, all right? And then the 3rd time I called her back, and she says, I go, "Which way is it going?" She goes, "I can't see it anymore." All right. After that, right there, I thought to myself, really? Are they listening to me? I remember an incident that happened from Dinuba. I got a call from a janitor at an elementary school in Dinuba, and she said she works the night shift.
Yeah.
After the teachers go, she cleans, and it was like 8:00. And she called my 24-hour hotline. She goes, "Jeff." He goes, "Hey, is this Jeffrey?" He goes, "Yes." He goes, my name is Marsh. I don't remember her name. I'm at this school in Dinuba, and I'm outside taking a break. I'm looking up, and there's this flying saucer over the school. And I'm all, "Really? Can you describe it?" And she's describing it, and then all of a sudden, I live in the Sunnyside area.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I hear, and then right over my head, it's a helicopter. It's not a Black Hawk, not a military, just a helicopter. It's coming over me, heading right towards Dinuba. And I said, hey, He goes, I think this helicopter is heading towards you right now. And I go, do you hear it? She goes, no, not yet. And I'm going, and she goes, I hear it. Here it comes, right? And then she goes, I go, do you still see the UFO? And she goes, no, it just took off. And all of a sudden, the helicopter went to the school and started to circle around the school and started doing like back and forth type of deal. And I'm going, okay, are they listening to me? Are they monitoring me? And I'm going, I think what they're doing is they're using me, because I'm getting calls about Bigfoots, about weird stuff that maybe they cannot zero in on, but they're using me to help them locate whatever. And that goes for
them.
Well, I know they're monitoring me on the 24-hour hotline. I know that for a fact.
Oh my God.
So
are we talking about the government?
The government, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the most recent one, which a lot of people pretty much think that they really try to take me out, and this was 3 years ago. I worked for the phone company. I was working on the side of the road on Clovis and between Butler and California, pretty damn close where I live. And they always said, if you're going to get in an accident, you're going to within a mile from your house, right?
Yeah.
So I'm working. I pull over in my work van, and I'm out in the grass. I'm about 15 feet from the road, and I'm working on this pedestal, and I am doing some stuff. And, okay, I finished. I put the cover back on, and I'm walking toward my van, put my tools away, and I'm walking back to the pedestal to see if I left anything. Then all of a sudden, my back is turned to the street, and I'll hear a boom and lights out. And I woke up, and I'm on my back, and this pickup is on top of me. And it's like, what the hell just happened? So I pulled myself from under, and I get on my feet. Then all of a sudden, my left leg started to hurt really bad. And I'm going, holy crap, what just happened? I just got hit by a truck. So there's this metal, what we call a V-rad right around the corner. I walked over there, and I pulled my pants up because I thought my leg was hanging off. Oh. And I pulled my pants down, and there's no blood or anything, but it just started to hurt a lot. So I started to walk back to the truck, and I fall on my back, and I can't move anymore. And then people started to pull over, and I looked over, and there was this pickup that ran into this railroad crossing guard. That crossing guard was on the ground, and the pickup was right next to me, where basically it hit me from behind. And the paramedics showed up, blah, blah, blah. They're looking at me, they're treating me, and I'm telling them what happened, and they're going, you were underneath that truck, and you're talking to us right now?
Yeah.
Right? So they put me in a gurney, put me to the hospital, and they couldn't find anything. I didn't have a pulse in my foot, but later it finally came back. I was off of work for 14 months. Now, the reason why I am saying this is because 2 weeks after that incident occurred, or a week, my show that I had shot in my studio was to start to be aired in a local TV station, and he was also going to put it out in some other TV stations around the country where he has them, and he was going to do it for free, and that all came to a stop. It's like okay, that's
right
done. Right before it was going to start to air. I filmed 2 episodes, ready to go. I was off work for 4. I couldn't even walk. I was on the couch for 9 months.
So the immediate, my immediate focus would be the driver and her background.
Now, the driver, she was a Mexican lady, but the cop was interviewing her, and she said, and they asked her, so what happened? She goes, my steering wheel just turned to the right, and I hit the crossing guard, and then that's when I hit him. And so they're going, okay, she's probably lying. She was probably on the phone. She just didn't want to, to fess up. But I have heard that vehicles with the OnStar, the electronics, you can intercept, and because they can turn off your car and kill it and stuff like that with OnStar. So I'm thinking that this was a chance for them to get at me before my show aired. I know I know it's like, I don't know about that. But you guys have to understand something, that I had a TV show come down called Chasing UFOs with Aaron Ryder and James Fox, and they did a episode for their TV show here in
James
Fresno.
Fox is a big name in UFO.
Very big. And he called me years ago, said, hey, my name is James Fox. I don't know if you know who I am. And I'm going, well, why did that name sound familiar, right? And then he finally told me, yeah, I produced Out of the Blue. I know what I saw. And I went, you're I'm talking to James Fox, right? And he goes, yeah, we're
Art Bell, James Fox.
yeah, we're filming this TV show, and we're interested in the crashed UFO that happened in north of Fresno. We want to come down and do a story on that. And that's another situation. We had a crashed UFO.
Did you know about this? The crashed UFO? Off the 99 or?
No, this was and at the levee at the Shepherd and down Shepherd. There's this big levee out there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's another story. I found some ancient ruins over there.
What?
Wow.
And
Jeff just drops bombs left and right.
I actually have. We have pyramids over there, and I have video.
What?
I've ever showed you that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh my God.
Man, we've got
Okay,
to
so
get on
after
that channel.
after the show, I'll have to show it to you. So
Pull down that thing behind you, Jeff. Just pull it behind you.
I'll just drop it.
There you go.
So, but the things that I'm finding in Fresno, California, guys, let me tell you. All right. So, anyways, and that's a whole. I mean, like I said, how much time do we have? But anyways, so yeah, so I got a call one day years ago on my 24-hour hotline. Hi, my name is Joe, and I live over here, Fowler and Appaloosa ranches over there in that area, and there's this triangle just crashed on the side of the hill at Owens Mountain. I mean, what? I'm going, yeah. And so it's just like, so I get up off the couch, I'm in my shorts, I grab my briefcases, all my cameras, and I tell my wife, I just got to call him out. And she goes, bye. So I get in my truck, and back then I had an old beta camera, the night vision. So I'm driving down Clovis, bad out of hell. He gave me the address, and I'm filming with this hand, and I'm talking with him on the speakerphone, and I'm freaking driving with my knee, right? And I'm going down Clovis, and then all of a sudden when I get to the turn off to get on the 180s, like I put the phone down, like, and then I'm driving down the way doing this, right? So, and then when all this came out, people said, oh, you had somebody in your passenger filming. I'm going, no, I was doing it all myself. So I get to so I'm talking, I'm filming this. I got this documented. I'm filming this with audio and visual, night vision. And I have Joe, he's talking on the camera. He goes, yeah, Jeff, the camera, the triangle just crashed. And I hear his wife, and I found out to be his mother-in-law. He says, oh my God, look. And he goes, it's trying to lift. And she says, when it was trying to lift, and he's saying all this, I got all this on audio and video. And he said the lights started going around, and it would go boom, and it would fall. And then he said a couple of times he tried to get up, right? And then he goes, and then he says, Jeff, there are trucks coming over the hill. I go, what? He goes, yeah, I don't know if there's a road up there, but these trucks are coming over the hill, and now there's headlights, and they're surrounding this craft.
That fast.
That fast. So I'm going, there's something in that hill, in that mountain area. So I'm going down Willow, and I make a right on Copper, and I'm heading bed out of hell. And I'm still talking to him, and he goes, Jeff, they're leaving. I go, well, yeah, because I'm getting close to the scene. All right. So they're getting in their trucks, and at that time it's starting to get nighttime. So he's still seeing these trucks, and they take off. Now when I get there, it's nighttime, and Joe goes, there it is, and I'm looking, I can't see it because it's dark, and he says it's right to the right of that house, and then I see a light, and I see something over there, but I can't make it out. So I get my video camera, and I put it in the bed of my truck, and I get up, and I turn it on, and I just start filming. And nothing. You know, it's like 8 o'clock, it's dark, and I'm filming, and I don't see anything. And then all of a sudden, I see this car come out of nowhere, and it starts driving down the hill, and all of a sudden, it turns on a spotlight. And the spotlight is going down the bottom of the hill. I got all this on video. I recorded all this, and it's like, what is it looking for? And it's probably looking for me trying to get up there, but you can't because you have the canal, not the Kern River, but the Bryant Kern Canal. It's the Owens Mountain is on the other side of that. So anyways, I'm there videotaping, and all of a sudden I see bright flashes of light, and I'm going, boy, it looks like somebody's welding up there, right? I'm getting all this on video. Yeah. So to make a long story short, that is the reason why James Fox called me, because I put all that out. I talked about it on my show. I showed people the video of me traveling up there, blah, blah, blah. And James Fox said, hey, we want to come down and do a story. Make a long story short, they were down here chasing UFOs. James Fox and Aaron Ryder were down here for 8 days filming about Fresno. There's an hour episode out there on me. They went to my house, went to the studio.
How cool was that?
It's like the whole 8 days was about Fresno and me. It was badass. That put me on the map too.
I want to see that episode.
But yeah. So while they were down here filming, they were being followed by white trucks and white cars every single day that they were here.
Was it the same kind of trucks that had shown up for the spaceship? Remember, you said it was trucks.
The government always use white vehicles. Okay, so
they blend in the best.
They try, but I mean, they could probably use a blue one once in a while or a red one. I mean, they're idiots. Come on, guys. Truck. They're probably going, and now they're probably making calls. I think we better change the color of the cars. Pendejos.
Jeff put it out there. We're in white.
So yeah, guys, mix it up a little bit. Don't make it obvious. Wait,
hold on a second. I just got thought of. Do you fear for your life? I know that's a deep question, but it just hit me like.
I think it's too late now. I think because there's a couple of times where 5 years into this, 6 years into this, and I know that they're messing with me. And there's a couple of times where I would send my own email to me because I know they're monitoring all this. I don't think I'm getting all these emails that I'm supposed to be getting either from people who go to my website and fill out the form and send in requests. I don't think I'm getting a lot of them because I all that stopped for some reason.
Yeah.
So I decided one day to go, okay, I'm going to send myself an email. Okay, guys, I give up. I want to be part of your organization. I don't want to work anymore at where I work. Take me downstairs and I will help you guys out. The government, I'm talking about the government, right? So I tried to reason with them and I said, okay. And I emailed them again. And I said, emailed myself because I know they're looking at it. And I said, okay, I'm here not to give your secrets. I am here because I'm having fun. I'm going to go look for Bigfoot. I'm going to find him. I already found him, all right? So let me do what I'm doing. If you want to monitor me, that's cool, but just let me do what I want to do, all right? I'm not here to, because I'm a hardcore military guy, government guy. I'm not going to give up you guys' secrets, all right? Mm-hmm. But I know these things. I know there's something going on here in Fresno, California. I want to know what it is. If you guys don't want to bring me in, then I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. I've been doing this 20 years, all right?
It's a long time.
It's a long time. And people are going, why are you still doing it? It's because I am still finding stuff. It's a nonstop. It's not like I just saw one Bigfoot and that's it. I'm getting caught. I mean, the stories, oh my God. It's like I have people who have seen 5 Bigfoots on their property. Oh, you don't know about that one? That's right across the street from Avocado Lake.
Avocado Lake.
Oh my God!
Do you have a theory about the drownings at all? That many? In one spot?
Yeah. I'm at one point I said maybe the Bigfoots are swimming underneath and they're pulling them down. That was one of my theories back in the day. Really? But yes, a lot of, but it's just a bunch of drunk Mexicans drinking. And I can say that because my last name is Gonzalez, all right? So, hey, I'm not racist, so stop it. But no, I think it's just partiers going out there and they're not knowing what they're supposed to be doing.
So many signs that say, hey, we've had X amount of drownings just this year. Like, let me get in.
3 beers and that's it. You can't go swimming after that.
The signs are made of chalk because they have to keep changing the amount of deaths that are up there.
So bad.
You know, I did want to ask you though, Jeff, because I've known you for years now and just followed you and done all this. is your passion would be Bigfoot, correct? Because you've covered all of this. So when someone says what makes your blood get that excited or where you can't sleep overnight, is it the Bigfoot? Is it the aliens? Is it the ghosts? Is it?
I guess I'm going to say yes on the Bigfoot, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it's just not in the mountains. Because of the length that I've been doing this, the time that I've been doing this, the reports that I've been getting now, people are going, you know what? I've always kept this story to myself, but I never told anybody because I didn't want to get laughed at. But then I hear Jeffrey Gonzalez, and I see him on the TV, I see him on radio, and I go, I think I could trust this dude. So they would come to me in person or on the phone. They would tell me their stories.
Yeah.
And I'm going, wow. I mean, thank you for. I mean, it's like. Went to a Walmart with my wife one Saturday morning or Friday or whatever to go grocery shopping in Sanger, and I needed glasses. So I walked in. We walked in right there to the glasses. We were looking around, and the lady at the desk there goes, "You're Jeffrey Gonzalez." I'm yeah. She goes, "You're the paranormal guy, huh?" I'm going, "Yeah." And that happens all the time. Now, I'm not trying to be conceited or anything, but my face has been plastered all over the freaking place. I mean, Fox News, CNN. I had my CW, Fox. I've been on so many shows. It's
Discovery Channel.
Huh?
Is it Discovery Channel?
And we'll talk about that. And so she goes, my husband has the story for you. I'm going, really? What is it? She goes, so my husband. Oh God. Well, I don't think he. Well, too late now.
It's out, folks.
My husband is a bus driver for Sanger School District. And he goes, he has the route down Piedra to go pick up the kids. And he says he was going down Piedra, past Avocado Lake, and as he was driving, he noticed a dead pig on the side of the road. And he passed it, and he was looking in the view mirror, and he saw this Bigfoot come out of the bushes, pick up the pig, and take off with it. What? And I'm all, cool. I'm going, well, that's just one. So, oh my God. 7-8 years ago, I got a call from a buddy of mine in Sanger. His name is Adolf. He goes, hey, Jeff. He goes, hey. He goes, I was just fixing this ATV for this farmer who lives near Avocado Lake, and he was telling me some stuff. And I said, dude, you need to call Jeffrey Gonzalez. I said, okay. So Adolf gave him my number. The guy called me, and his name is Keith. And Keith told me what happened on his property. And he said, so anyway, so he goes, I need to talk to you. So I took Emerald at the time with the part of the team. We went to his house, literally across the street from Avocado Lake is where he lives. And I went into it, sat down, introduced myself, blah, blah, sat down, and he sat on the ground, and he's an older gentleman, and he started to tell me, well, he has organic lemons on the side of this hill, or across the street from Avocado Lake. And he was up at 2:00 in the morning doing irrigation, and his buddy was up north a little bit, and he was running the bulldozer, and he was driving. Keith was driving this white truck, and all of a sudden he saw these two guys near one of his broken down trucks. So he gets down, he goes, "Hey, what are you guys doing down there? What are you doing?" And then the guy started running, and then he takes out his gun and takes shots out, a couple of shots in the air, trying to scare him. And then these two guys were hauling ass up this hill. Then he decided to try to cut him off. He got into his truck, started to drive, and then all of a sudden, in his headlights, he sees these 5 things run across the front of him. And he hits the brakes, and he gets down, and he's looking at them, and I go, those aren't people. And he noticed one of them had something over his shoulder, and they're running, and they like dispersed, and they're running down the hill towards some orange fields. And the big one that had whatever on his shoulder, there's this big, I've been to his property many of times now, we're good friends, and there's this big irrigation pipe, so big, I guess this thing didn't see it, and his foot hit it, and he went flying, and this thing went flying off his shoulder. And the thing gets up, and he picks this thing up that we found out that it was probably a pig, and it goes into the orange fields. And then he says, I told him, then what about these other two that ran up the hill? He goes, well, they ran up the hill, and I'm going, man, and I think they had fatigues on, and they had rifles. What? And then he said they ran up this hill here, and at the very top there was this red light blinking, but it wasn't making any sound. So I'm going, I'm trying to piece all this together. I'm going, it looks like these two guys were military, and they were hunting these 5 Bigfoots. And then they got spotted by the farmer, Keith. And then that's when the 2 guys ran up that hill. And he says, Jeff, he goes, look at that hill. He goes, how does 2 guys run up? Well, these guys were probably special ops or whatever, and they could do it. So the red dot that was up there was probably a Black Hawk helicopter in stealthy mode waiting for them. And then they went up there and took off. So basically what we have here in the Central Valley is, I was told that we have a special team here in the airport and at the National Guard that they specifically are here to take out Bigfoots, because the Bigfoots are getting too close to civilization, that when they hear wherever they're at, they get out there and they kill them and they take the body and they take it in, right? And that has been told to me by a military personnel, that we do have that here settled because of the Bigfoot community that we have. I never knew that they came that close.
Yeah.
All right. I had another report. The guy told me that 9 years ago, there was a guy who delivered donuts to the 7-Eleven in Sanger. And he was going down Jensen, and he passed him a call. And he says that the guy who was driving his pickup, or the girl, this Bigfoot ran across, because it was like 4:30 in the morning. Wow. The Bigfoot ran across the front of the truck, and she lost control when she flipped it. Right? And she never told the police what happened, what she saw that made her car flip, because do you really think they're going to believe her? A Bigfoot?
Yeah.
And boom, 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 right? So that came to me not too long ago. I was doing an investigation at the Sanger Herald. That place is haunted big time. So I took my psychic team in there. And we were filming for the CW. As a matter of fact, that was put on the CW. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, because the manager of the Sanger Herald gave me whatever I wanted to do in there, was go film or whatever.
Free reign.
And free reign. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was sitting in the lobby there waiting for the camera guys to set up the shots. And then all of a sudden the door opens, and a Sanger police officer, an older guy, I can see he had, stars, so he was upper, management or whatever, captain or whatever. And he goes, "Who's Jeffrey Gonzalez?" And I said, "Oh, frack, what did I do?" I went like this. He goes, "Outside." And so I go out. I go outside of the sidewalk, and across the street, I noticed there was 4 other police cars, but he was going, "Yeah, they're just here because they know that you guys are filming for a TV show, so they just wanted to look." But he goes, he took me around the building on the sidewalk, and he goes, "I'm going to tell you something, but if you ever repeat it, I'm going to deny it." I said, "Okay." He goes, "My police officers during the night shift see these big things running around Sanger." And I'm all,
what?
See, but at that time, Bigfoot was not in my head. I'm thinking, "Oh, cool, they're seeing ghost. It had to be ghost." And he goes, "No," he goes, "They're seeing these big black things or big brown, whatever it is, running around Sanger during the night, and they just watch them, and they don't do anything." And they go, "Oh." Okay, so he wanted to tell me that. My dad, who lived at 5th and K Street in Sanger, and that's where my grandparents' house, that's where he grew up. I remember, this was before he passed away, it was like 7, 8 years ago, he said, and when I was doing all this, right, he thought I was losing it, Yeah. He didn't believe in any of this crap, but he told me, he goes, "Jeff," he goes, "when I was in high school, I was coming home from a party, and I parked on K Street to go back into the house, and he says, when I got out of the truck across the street, and I remember back then, there was no houses there. There was orange trees." He goes, when he got out, he says one of the orange trees, which is probably 8, 9 feet tall, was going, but when he told me the story, I thought it was a big-ass tree, and it was like maybe a big bird, until later on he clarified, because I started telling him of the stories that people were telling me.
Yeah.
And then he says, "No, it was an orange tree." And I said, "Dad, why didn't you ever clarify it?" He goes, "I thought I did." He goes, So the stories that I have gotten in Tybee Valley, where Avocado Lake is, people have heard grunts and orange trees go shh, 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 to try to scare them out. So the Bigfoots back in the 1950s were running around Sanger. And my dad didn't understand what was moving that tree. He said it scared the shit out of me. He ran inside, right?
Yeah.
These things have been around forever.
I just can't believe the valley. I always pictured far away. It's right here.
It's right here.
So here's the thing that's really impressive about you, and I've experienced a little bit of it, but not to this degree. I just hit my 10th year in nonprofit work, right, in Kings County, and so right around year 8, 9, 10, you start to get phone calls because people start to view you as a source. Hey, Rob, do you know any nonprofit things happening in here? So I'm starting to fill these calls, and you being 20 years in like 3 different areas where it's UFO, it's the paranormal, it's the Bigfoot sightings, you're fielding calls left and right, and not only from just residents and witnesses, but major networks are calling you to be the local authority on such things.
Yes.
Now to the point where I don't know how much you can show, but the Discovery Channel, you will be playing a significant role there in January.
I have been on numerous reality shows.
Yes.
History Channel, Destination America, Discovery. Okay. So this past January, I acquired finally a manager that has the connections in Hollywood, and it was by accident how we met. And she goes, I want to represent you. I said, okay. I said, oh, I'll get you your own show, because I told her exactly what I'm telling you, and I told her everything. And she's going, why don't you have a show? And I'm going, I know. I don't have the connections. So we shot a pilot the right way. I finally went out, and I bought 3 4K Canon cameras. I have sound. I have it all now to shoot my own TV show. So my son, who's Christian, who is now taking video, the guy is a badass in editing. He can edit like you wouldn't believe, and he does a fabulous job. And so we shot this pilot. The management company came, and our girl came, and they helped with it. And then she said, okay, now I'm going to shop it. Right around that same time, I got a call from somebody who I'm familiar with, who had been saying the same thing. Jeff, you need to get your own show. I'm going, okay, well, help me. So there was a case that happened in the late 80s. I really can't tell you about it, but it's Bigfoot oriented.
Yeah.
She actually was a fan of me for years, and she was also a TV anchor or reporter.
Reporter, yeah.
Yeah, and James knows her very well. And she is now in the crime mysteries. She's done stuff for Netflix, blah, blah, blah. She was listening to one of my paranormal shows where I had a call about this Bigfoot situation, and she goes, oh, my God, that would be great TV stuff. So she called me one day. Hi, my name is so-and-so. I don't know if you know who I am. This is where I was. I go, oh, yeah, I remember you. I've seen you on TV on the news, right? She goes, this is what I do, and I was listening. I am a big Bigfoot freak, and I've been watching you for years. I'm going, whoa.
You never know.
You never know. Yeah. So she goes, I want to see if we can get that particular case and put it on TV. And I'm saying, okay. So that was 2.5 years ago. So finally, she got a bite. A production company sold it to the Discovery, and the Discovery came down last month. And basically, it's a 3-part docuseries on this Bigfoot case about Fresno. And,
very cool.
And it is going to air in January. And
so it's already shot.
It's already filmed. They're already edited. It's probably already done. And they came down, and they wanted me to be part of it because I am the Bigfoot expert.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are no experts in Bigfoot. Why? Because we haven't found a body yet. We don't know what these things are. But I know a lot about the Bigfoot stuff here in Fresno, so that's why they asked me to be part of it. I said, heck yeah. So they came down. We filmed 3 or 4 hours in my studio, and we went out the following day during the night for another 4 hours, filmed on location somewhere out there.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it because they're promoting Paranormal Central. That name and my face is going to be plastered all over the world.
That's gonna be.
This is going to be
awesome.
Discovery Channel. Then after the Discovery Channel, it's going to be put on Max, so you can watch it. Okay,
yeah.
so I'm going to be plastered everywhere. So my management company or manager said, you know what? I'm not going to shop you. Let's wait until Discovery films this, gets you out there, and then it's going to be easier for us to go out and try to get you your own show. Even the production company had no idea who I was, who came in, saw my studio. They walked in, they went, what the hell is this doing in Fresno? And then I started showing them stuff and about the Bigfoot, and they're like, we need to talk after we get this out. So there's now a couple of avenues that, so I'm hoping that finally, because, when I started doing this, I didn't plan to make a career out of this. All right. It was a hobby.
Yeah.
A big boy hobby. Everybody has hobbies. This is my hobby. It's a weird hobby, but hey, all right. But I'm at the point now where I've been working at my job for 25 years. I can retire. I would love to continue now doing this and getting paid for it. That's my goal now, because I have what I believe now is a hit TV show, whether it's on Netflix or it's on Hulu, on Amazon. It doesn't matter. I have what it takes to get people excited. They're not going to now watch these Bigfoot shows. They're going to go knock on wood and did you hear that? Did you see that? And then nothing. Let's go to the next town. Do exactly the same thing.
Yes.
It's over.
And it's frustrating, Jeff, because I'm on that other side of it too. But how do they get those gigs? You see, they're a dime a dozen. You see, all these people that have these shows where they'll chase something, but I see more of the actor or the person's face more than I do the actual Bigfoot evidence.
And
I mean, YouTube's blown them all up. I mean, everybody has a show on YouTube that they plug.
Right. What makes them special? Back then, before all these people are doing YouTube shows now, there wasn't many of them at all. So the people who got their foot in the door first, who had that connection, like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures and Finding Bigfoot, they were lucky.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they have 5-6 seasons under their belt, and they can no longer do the show anymore. So now they have to go out and try to find the next big thing. And Skinwalker Ranch comes around, and it's all. I mean, if you got the money and the connections, then you can get your foot to the door. But here I live in frickin' Fresno, Sanger, California. It's like, I don't know. I guess you have to be at the right place at the right time. That's what it is. And you have to have connections. I never had that. I know I have what it takes.
The body of work is.
Dude, I tell you, man. I mean, with the stuff that we talked about,
years.
I haven't even told you about other stuff that you're going to, what?
What's most impressive about you is there's always like a video, a photo, something to back it up.
I do. I have the
That's
evidence.
You have to
Impressive,
these days to validate any of it.
But
Yes.
these shows, they don't have a whole lot.
But the question is, a lot of people have told me that the government is the ones that are running these reality shows. They don't want them to find it. All right. If you have the legit evidence, they don't want you to prove that there's a Bigfoot, because they know, oh my God, you found a body. There it is. Then what else is out there? Then our lives are going to change. We just proved that there's a Bigfoot. There's a 10-foot, 11-foot thing running around.
It's interesting you say that. So I have a theory, and it's not related to Bigfoot, but it's interesting you kind of picked on it. And what happened in the last 3 years from the military? They started acknowledging that they are seeing certain things that they cannot describe, right?
Yeah.
So my thought was, the more and more you feed into, or the more and more you acknowledge the fact that these things are out there. I'm talking aliens right now. Mm-hmm. So that slowly, when it is in your face, the facts, the proof, and everything is in your face, the government could easily say, well, yeah, we told you. And because there's no denying it. There's over 5,000 sightings a year, in certain areas of the world, but you don't hear a lot about Bigfoot. You don't hear a lot about certain things that the evidence is there. Sure, they might say there's a body or there's footprints and everything, but there's no hardcore evidence that the people have seen.
I want to tell you the reason why the Bigfoot thing is really not out in our face is Bigfoot. If you talk to the Native Americans, which I have friends who in the Mono, and basically back in the day when the Native Americans were here, the Bigfoots used to take the children and the women and eat them.
What?
They eat people. There are some that do and some that don't. Here in the east of Fresno, and this was probably 4 or 5 years ago, I remember reading and watching the news, missing camper, missing hiker, missing hiker, missing camper, constantly. And they would never find the bodies. There is people who write about this stuff. I know people who have friends who have gone up fishing or hunting, and they never saw them again. All right?
Yeah.
These Bigfoots are taking these people and doing what with them, I don't know. But the last thing that the government wants to do is acknowledge that, okay, there are Bigfoots, and yeah, the Bigfoots have been taking people. We just never told you because we didn't want to scare you. We didn't want you to stop going to Yosemite and spending money. We didn't want you to go up to Grant Grove and pay $10 entry fee, because if you found out that the Bigfoots are up there stealing people and eating them, then you would not go up to the mountains anymore, and it would create havoc.
So why now are we seeing more alien evidence that's being exposed?
Now we're going to get into religion and conspiracy. Now, I'm Catholic. I was brought up Catholic Christian. For those who are familiar with the Bible, and I talk about all this, I believe we're at the end days. I believe we're pretty dang close to the end days, and if you follow the Bible, certain things have to happen before the end days. People believe in the rapture. Okay, if you are witnessing what's happening in Israel and Jerusalem right now, they're starting to build a new temple. Okay, if those are familiar with the Bible, before you do that, you have to bless the grounds of the new temple with special cows that are called red heifers. The red heifers were actually grown in Texas and already transferred to Jerusalem. They already built the altar that they're going to. Okay, that's happening right now.
I'm just so amazed that you have connected all these dots.
Okay, and they're already building that. I already know that they're already fabricating the new temple. Okay, that is going to be for the Antichrist. Now, where is this going with the UFOs? The government do not want you to believe in a higher power, in God. Okay. So what they're going to say, and this is the reason for all of this UFO stuff, is they're going to say when the rapture happens, it wasn't God taking these people, it was aliens and abductions. Because they're going to basically use blue beam, and they're going to put up giant motherships, because we have that technology now. And they're going to trick the people to think that the aliens took all these people. If you believe in the Bible stuff, if you believe in the rapture, when that happens, they're going to say, no, it wasn't God, it was aliens.
So I'm going to be, because I know you, and I'm going to say this. What the frick are you talking about? So how would you explain the proof or evidence to someone who's just watching, knowing that that's valid?
What's valid?
What you just said.
Because if you believe in the rapture, okay, now if you've watched movies on TV, the rapture is all of a sudden, one day, no one knows when, the hour of the day, these people are going to disappear around you. It could be your family, it could be your friends, whoever. Hopefully, if you believe in the rapture, you're going to be the one who disappears, right? Okay? But the governments of this world, see, and this is not paranormal. I don't know if you want me to go there, but we live in a very evil place. We do. Hollywood, music, there's evil that all around us. And they want to continue that, pushing evil on people. The last thing they want to do is prove that there is a God. They hate it when people use the word Jesus and God in a lot of things. Schools, for example. No, you can't use that. You can't talk about that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay? Let's just say that they don't want you to become spiritual religion. So when the rapture does happen, they don't want you to go. They want the evil to stay. See, this is not even paranormal stuff. I don't want to go there because I'm going to turn off a lot of people. But it's all about Satan taking as many people as they can before the rapture. All right?
So aliens are being more accepted, and there's a plan for that.
There's a plan for that. Now,
You had a statement about aliens.
many
Remember what you said?
years ago, and again, I had my buddy Alan Thomas as a co-host, and he's very religious. He died on an operating table, came back, has a gift, and we talk a lot about religion on the Paranormal Show because I believe it's involved because, you know, we do investigations of hauntings and spirits and ghosts, and there's bad and there's good. There's evil and there's good in this world. Simple as that. There is. We had a lot of people calling into the show on my 24-hour hotline, and these people have been abducted. And they asked us, help me. I don't want to be abducted anymore. I've been abducted since I was a kid, and they're 30, 40 years old now. And they would call and say, help me. How do I get rid of these? And finally, Alan and myself said, we had a theory. We go, what if these aliens aren't really aliens? What if there's something else? What if they're demons? And, you know, we were the first ones to actually come out and talk about that. Tucker Carlson is now talking about that. He is saying, aliens are not what you guys think they are. Well, we already came to the conclusion of that 10 years ago. How? These people who called in, and we took 3 or 4 people who called in with abductions, and said, I would be at home asleep, and then all of a sudden I know they would be at the foot of my bed because I feel it, and all of a sudden I would be frozen. I couldn't move anymore, and they take me and they brought me back, and I just hate it. I wanted to stop. So Alan and myself said, okay, do this. The next time they are there and you're in the frozen mood, and we say these words just for the heck of it. And some of these people aren't religious, and we would say, in the name of Jesus Christ or in the blood of Jesus Christ, leave me alone. Get away from me. In the name of Jesus Christ. We told them to say those words. And people would laugh at us. And I said, well, just try it as an experiment. Just try it. So the following week, we get 3 calls back from the same people. They tried it. And they said as soon as they were frozen and they could feel that the aliens were there, at that time they thought they were aliens, they would say these words. Then all of a sudden, these aliens would turn around and screech and cry and just run off.
Wow.
And their abduction stopped. And it happened to all 3. And I said, okay, so you're telling me that these aliens that come from millions of miles of different galaxies come here to abduct us, and what scares them off is the name's Jesus Christ? That's telling me they're not aliens. And Tucker Carlson just recently came out and pretty much confirmed this. Somebody told him in the military or whatever it was that these aliens are not what you guys think. They're actually something sinister. Wow. And I'm going, ha, we were talking about that 10 years ago and you're barely figuring this shit out.
Been there.
Oh, wow.
So,
which is scary in itself. That's a whole other level of scare.
Oh, now, is there aliens, like different type of humanoids in other galaxies? Yeah, probably. But the ones that we are talking about right now are the ones that are abducting people. The grays, the little ones with the big eyes, the aliens that you see at Close Encounters of the Third Kind, those are not what you think they are. And for those who are watching right now who have been abducted or being abducted, say those words. and it works every time.
Amen.
This is the stuff that I have come across. I have been figuring this stuff out on my own.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 20 years, and it's nonstop. We find the craziest solutions and the craziest things that are going on. It's like, what?
Can
now
you tell
what?
us this? Is there a book coming?
Well, I think I want to get a TV show first.
TV show, then the book.
Then the book, because that way everybody's going to know who I am. I can sell a lot of books.
I can envision you like a handbook. Hey guys, and this, because you've been in all these situations.
Right.
You know, if you're the presence of a Bigfoot, X, Y, and Z, in the presence of a paranormal entity, here's the, you know what I mean?
I think I never thought about that. I'm definitely going to write a book about the Central Valley, of all the sightings, all the experiences. I got pictures. I'm going to plaster them. But if I put one out, I wanted to put a book out 5 years ago, but if I put it out, no one's going to buy it because no one knows me.
They will.
No one knows who I am yet. Yes, there are people here in the valley who know me, people, my fans on the paranormal, but I only have now, people are going to go to my YouTube channel, they're going to go, oh, you only have 1,200 views, only have 1,000. When I first started this, I started off on a streaming service called Livestream, and I had over 100,000 subscribers. I was killing it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they cut me off. And I asked them why, and I said, no, we just can't have you anymore.
No explanation.
Yeah, no explanation. So I got to start all over again. So Facebook came out, and in 2007, I think, is when I started my podcast on Facebook. And then I had like 16,000 subscribers. I was getting up there. Then all of a sudden, they shut me down. YouTube was the same way. During the YouTube channel, I started to talk about all of the above. Politics, all of the stuff, and they did not like that. I lost.
I remember that. I remember listening to you and stuff, and you're like, okay, I can't say that because I'll get knocked out. And sure enough, the next day he was gone.
Oh,
I was like, wow.
Man, they're watching.
So that's probably one of the reasons why I haven't got my own show yet, because when people want their own show, these people in Hollywood want to say, okay, what's your track record? Show me show me your subscribers. What have you done? I have 1,200 subscribers. No one knows who you are. And that's why it's been hard for me to get to the next level. Until they sit down with me like we're doing now, not for 2 hours, but for 6 hours, for 7 hours. I have a screen here. I have all the stuff on my laptop, all the evidence, all the videos, all the pictures, and I just show them everything that I have. They're going to go, I'll take the freaking network president up to Badger, go into the trailer, sit down at nighttime, and you hear them walking around. It's like, it's nothing for us anymore. It's just the next thing we hope it's going to happen is that they're going to come around and they're going to stand right in front. At the spot, David Ragosa once took a friend of his, and matter of fact, he was like, I don't want to say janitor, but worked at the school. And they went up there together, and they went and bought like 10 motion cameras. And they would go up every month, put them up, blah, 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 right? And one weekend, they went up to go get the cameras. So I think his name was Bill. Bill went that way. David went that way. And then David was coming back a short time later, and Bill came back, and David was, because he told me the story, and he goes, he saw Bill's face, and his face was white as a ghost. And David goes, what happened? What happened? And he goes, let's go. Bill's going, let's go. Let's go. I'm done. I'm done. And David goes, what do you mean? He goes, they're real. I'm done. Let's go. So they got into the car, and he got out of there. And on the way out, Bill told him what had happened. He was walking that way to get one camera. And he was walking over there, and behind this large tree stump that was laying on the ground, a Bigfoot stood up right in front of him, probably 10 feet. And he was like this, or like this.
Oh.
and he just turned around and walked back, and that's when he met David. And he says, I'm done.
out.
You can have the cameras. I'm done. I don't want ever to come back up here, ever again. I believe you. Let's go now. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah,
I think that would make me poop my. I'd have diarrhea too.
And,
Salsa.
And you know what? if that happens to me. If I, but I don't think I will. I think it would be more excitement than anything for me, because now I'm conditioned and I'm ready for that to happen to me. I'm ready for one. We were up at the camping spot, and we were at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was Mike, Casey, her husband, my son Christian, and myself. We were at the spot, and we were around the campfire, and Christian was right here, my son, and he was looking past me down the hill there. And all of a sudden, we were talking about something, and I looked at Christian, and Christian went, and I was looking at him, and I didn't even hesitate. I got up, and I just started running down that hill. Just, the brush were like knee high, and it's like and if I hit something, I'm gonna go flying. And I was just, because what I saw in his face, I have never seen on his face before. It was horror. It was like, and I just got up and I just started running down. And then I told Mike, that way, and I started running down that hill, and I stopped. And I looked, and I didn't see anything, and I heard crashing behind me, and here comes Christian running down. He goes, I saw it. I go, what'd you see? And he goes, and I go, calm down. He goes, it was black, and it was big, and it was gliding like that. And then he broke down and started to cry. And he saw something. I've seen something similar to what he saw. It was big, and it was moving so with ease, just like this. And it just, he saw it. He saw something. I think he saw a Bigfoot. And what's cool about this is that camping trip I took, I want to do different things to try to bring out the Bigfoot. So I went and got myself a truck tire and some rope, and I decided to make a swing out there for them. And my buddy helped me. We threw a rope. We pulled up the big 18-wheeler tire, and inside the tire, I put in a motion camera, and I screwed it inside. So if the Bigfoot wanted to play and stuck his hand in there, then the camera would take a picture, right? It just so happens 3 hours before that is when I put the camera or the tire. And so we were sitting down, and then that's when Christian saw that thing running from left to right. Then afterwards, after we were talking, he goes, that thing was running from the tire. So it was checking out the swing that I just finished putting up, because he had no idea what that was. No clue. And so it was running from left to right. And that's when Christian saw it, and I said, wow, that was cool. I'm happy for you. And Christian has been he's been hooked ever since. Well, he'd been hooked even before that. But
how old's Christian?
At that point, he was probably 16.
Okay.
15, 16. Now he's 19. But yeah, he saw something that he saw it. He saw it.
Wow. Well, so, I'm getting hooked on more Jeffrey Gonzalez is what we need in this world.
He hasn't even touched.
Oh,
he's on half the first chapter of his 12-chapter book.
So, well, I want to thank you for coming on. I don't know. It might be the last time we see you here.
Nah.
Because you're blowing up.
Well, hopefully this is going to be what's going to get me to the next level.
Yeah.
I've been saying that for years. I'm going, next year's going to be the year. Next year's going to be the year.
But you have management now.
I do. And this discovery thing now, I think hopefully it's going to put me over over where I need to go. But we'll see.
And you have, like what you just said 5 minutes ago, was give you 6 to 8 hours, a monitor. You almost need to document and put everything on video or audio or whatever. We're not getting young. We're not getting any younger, man. And you're at that point. I've known you for 10 years. And
well, that's why I went out and purchased my own cameras, because I was going to do this on my own. I was going to say, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to shoot 15 episodes, and I'm going to go out and just give it to somebody.
Yeah.
Put it on. Because I don't want to die without people seeing what I see, what I have.
It'll go with you, man.
It's going to go with me. Yeah. All right? People who follow me who's been watching. I have somebody, his name is Richard. who's been following me for 20 years, and he watches my show, and he's hooked because he knows I've got the stuff.
You bring the goods.
I got it, man. I got it. And I piss a lot of people out there who's been involved in this. See, but it's just not one particular subject. It's everything. I am involved in everything, paranormal and supernatural. I told you about religion, all. I'm involved in all of that.
Has it always been that? Because when you and I met, it was only paranormal.
Oh, it was only paranormal.
Yeah, and then you expanded to,
I think the religion part came into play when Alan decided to bring it in a little bit, and I said, okay, let's go that way. And sure enough, then we get calls to go to people's homes and my psychic team to get rid of evil. With prayer, we can eliminate evil in people's homes. That's what we do. And we don't charge. We do it for free. People need help. We're going to go help you.
Are you still using the same psychic family?
From the hospital?
No.
No. From the house.
Yeah, it was the mother, the daughter.
Same one.
Same one? Okay,
Yep.
yeah.
And I don't know if he told you, but he was filming. He was a camera guy for that situation we had at a house near the fairgrounds. And he was filming in the garage. And
I was outside on the street filming towards the garage. Yeah. I didn't see it in the camera.
Tell him what you got.
So we shot this pilot. We were shooting this investigative thing with the paranormals, and we walked in, and there was a man in there's several stories on this one incident, and it was an older woman and her husband, and I don't remember their names. So we go in with the paranormal or with the psychic family, and a couple things happened. You were talking to the mom about the pterodactyl thing and the
I don't even remember that.
So yeah, we were filming in the living room. He was talking to the mother of so let me go back. There was a grandma and grandpa. Then she had her daughter there with her granddaughter. There was a younger girl there who lived in that house. Jeff and I were there with the psychic team, and while we were interviewing the mother of the little girl, the psychic mother and the little girl were outside talking to the little girl, and all of a sudden, as we were filming, there was a scream, and I ran out, took the camera off my tripod, and we ran out, and they were talking alone with the psychic's daughter, and then the little girl, and that gave me the chills because she was holding, the husband went out there, and the husband
she collapsed,
was holding on to this little girl who had never even met that man, crying, and the daughter of the psychic was holding on to her mother, and she says when they were talking, something pushed them apart because they were realizing that the little girl had some kind of she could see things and witness some things that were happening in the house. Yeah. And something pushed them apart to where it startled the little girl. How old was that girl?
Oh, you're talking about Salida, the part of the team?
She got pushed away.
Right.
But the grandma had a little granddaughter there.
Yeah, I mean, she was probably, 8 years old? Yeah.
So obviously nothing that she could have, she was crying, dude. Mm-hmm. And she was being held by this strange man comforting her. So that was one thing that scared her, or that was interesting. The other thing that was interesting is I go back out. We were done with the shoot, and I start shooting exteriors of the establishing shots of the house. It's dark. It's nighttime. The garage door's open. There's like one light off to the side of the house.
Yeah.
And I go back to the house, and so I go back home, and we pack up and stuff, and I'm going through logging the video and stuff like that, and I call up Jeff, and I said, there's something here I need you to look at. And it was in the garage, and I didn't see it at the time, and because I was just outside putting my gear away, and I set it up on a tripod and shot it. And during that whole time that we were at the house, there was always these weird entities that were happening that the psychic family was catching and stuff like that. And they had said they had mentioned that there was some kind of evil spirit here, demon, whatever. But in the video, you have to see it. There's actually, it looks like a face is coming out of the garage, and then it disappears. It dissipates.
Oh, who has that video?
I have it, and when he has it, yeah. So
Holding out on me.
It's something that none of us could explain. We showed on your show. We showed the psychic family, and what did it look like? You kept going on.
A horse.
It looked like a horse's skull. The skull. It looked like the horse of the skull of a horse. Yeah, or the old fashioned pterodactyl or the vulture skull style.
I never thought about that.
Yeah,
thought about that.
Like the Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd dude. That the kind of that old school vulture looking face that was popping out of the garage. It was very eerie, very eerie. And the one story I just said this to the kids. I don't know if you remember, the psychic was telling the old couple that were in the kitchen. They were in the kitchen, and they kept saying, "There's something they don't like about you." And the old man said, "Me," and then the psychic said, "No, her." And there was something that she kept saying, "There's something about you they don't like, or there's some negativeness about you that they don't like." And do you remember what they said when we went home? You called me and you were freaking out because she called you and said, "Do you remember when that psychic was telling me that there was something about me, about her, the old lady? She had actually killed someone in a DUI when she was a teenager and got away with it." Do you remember that?
Wow.
Yeah, it's on the camera.
I didn't think that was the secret that was coming out.
It was she.
I don't remember that.
They kept pointing to the old lady, and they were saying, "There's something that we're getting on you that's negative." And the lady was like, "Oh, I don't know what it is." And then later on, she called you and said, "I think it was related to when I got away with." She was in a DUI accident as a teenager.
I don't remember that.
And that freaked me out, man. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So anyways, but that was a good show. I mean, that was a good episode. That team was really good. It was a whole family.
My psychic team is the real deal. They are the real deal.
Yeah.
We believe in that stuff.
Yeah. Mother, daughter,
and son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow,
all
with the
have it.
gift. Man, okay, so we're going to end it on that note because I'm getting freaked out and I have to drive in the dark country roads for an hour. Freaking me out. But you guys, stay tuned and follow Jeff.
Discovery
Channel.
Oh, so the Discovery Channel came down, and it's going to air in January. Okay. So I'm pretty sure they're going to start releasing the commercials right after the new year. Hopefully I'm going to be in there. I don't know how much they're going to use me, but I have a feeling because the whole purpose of this whole episode is Bigfoot, they're going to use a lot of what I'm bringing to the table. So I'm hoping that, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, which is a long time. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how much they use. But it's going to be on the Discovery Channel in January, and be on the lookout.
There you go,
Good
viewers.
luck with that, man. I hope you've been waiting a long time, bro.
Yeah,
A long time. Yeah. Discovery Channel, long overdue, but Jeffrey Gonzalez will be a household name, I'm predicting, in 2025.
Yeah.
So let's hope so.
Until next time, we brought it to you. It's October, and we're going to continue on, and Jeffrey's going to continue on, and we're going to follow his career, and we're very proud to have him here. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for inviting me. Have fun.
Yes, there's our applause there. Until next time, it's RobLive. I'm a little freaked out tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and finish it. Love, peace, and chicken grease. We out till next time.